Right.
And good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners board session for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020.
Ma'am, we cannot add additional chairs. The only chairs available, sorry, Commissioner, we have members of the public that need to respect social distancing.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. I'm John Hutchings, the chair of the board. Also present is Vice Chair Commissioner Ty Menser, Commissioner Gary Edwards, County Manager Romero Chavez, Assistant County Manager Robin Campbell, and we have Amy Davis, the clerk of the board, and I see Brian Dominique, our PIO. With that, I'm calling the meeting to order, and the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Edwards.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
And with that, is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve agenda for Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the November 3rd, 2020 board agenda. Any changes or amendments? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. And is there a motion for the meeting minutes from last week?
I move to approve board meeting minutes from October 20th, 2020.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from October 20, 2020. That's redundant. Any changes, corrections at all?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Now, this is the point in the agenda where we have time for public comment. And read some rules of the road here. Please introduce yourself when you take the podium if you're in the room. Introducing yourself, including your address where you reside in the county. Please address the board and not staff. Silence your cell phones if you haven't done so, please. The board does not respond to public comments, but on a needed basis, the county manager will follow up with specific items. Speakers are limited to a total of 3 minutes to address the board and are not allowed to donate your speaking time to another person. The board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. We ask you please no comments that are lewd and offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. We ask that you please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature for promotion, for example, for a for-profit business. All materials that are provided to the county may be considered public record subject to public release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 42.56 of the RCW. Remarks about pending permits or similar matters that could eventually come before this board on appeal wouldn't be appropriate either. And it's election day, so please, again, Romero, will you remind them about no electioneering?
Yeah, thank you. For the members of the public who are planning to testify this afternoon, I will ask them to refrain from providing comments that can be construed as electioneering.
Amy Davis will be managing the clock. Is it up on the wall? Will it chime or we?
Yeah, we'll get it covered, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So I have the sign-up list and I will call you in order that you have signed up. I'll call two at a time so you know when your time is, you're ready to get ready to go. First is John Pettit, followed by Terry Ballard.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live off Rich Road in East Olympia. I have a couple things I want to talk about today. One is I just want everyone to know that, to remind them about how when we've run into this budget situation and cut all the budgets back on different departments, including law enforcement, that that in fact, we've actually had more income than was ever anticipated, and yet no one's ever returned the funds back to help supply us with more law enforcement. My primary topic today has to do with a great concern I have about the well-being of a lot of individuals, homeless individuals, of which many of them have some very serious issues. I was very, very disappointed to understand that before the commissioners today is a concept that you can contract for $60,000 of state funds to be forwarded into a process for Olympia to build approximately 80 plywood boxes, 8 by 8 by 8 plywood boxes without a door, not a real door, a plywood door, no windows, no electricity, no insulation. And you think that somehow this is an improvement for these people. You guys happen to be members of the Board of Health. You know, it's astounding to me when you want to claim how you care so much for these individuals that what you want to do is you're treating them worse than my chickens and ducks have better accommodations. And the idea that you're going to brag about it like Mr. Menzer did before about how the county, those days are behind us. We're not going to be ignoring this issue. You're ignoring it. And the reason why this issue is before you is because you're supposed to have oversight about the activities that are going on. If you're not going to have oversight of it, get out of the position. You don't deserve to represent the people. You wouldn't put yourself in that situation. You wouldn't put your children. Nobody deserves to have that type of treatment. Now, if these people need care and they need services, let's get them care and services. But the idea, well, this is a better alternative than the tents. You know what? Making a decision between one unacceptable and saying, well, this is less unacceptable than that unacceptable, that is ridiculous. It doesn't meet any standard for emergency shelter housing. Do not approve item number 8A on your agenda today.
After Terry Ballard is Julie Holmquist.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm here to talk about voter fraud. I came up to a person that is to remain nameless. I have her certificate of naturalization. I have her passport. I have a voter's registration saying that he or she may have voted early, which is false, and I heard that one in court. Okay, and I have a copy of a background that was performed on her to include the right Social Security numbers and the wrong Social Security numbers, and everyone living at that residence. He or it is registered wrongfully with an assumed name. And this is voters fraud. This is voters fraud. I'm going to submit this to the manager, and if he wants to bring it up to the prosecuting attorney's office, that's fine. You can be part of the problem or part of the solution. Now you know what I have. Next. I figure that the population of Tenino, and why I'm using Tenino, is the population of Tenino was, in 2018, was 1,852. There are 1,214 active voters in Tenino. Just from 31 October to January 1st, okay, of 2020, we have 93 voters. 93 brand new voters, okay? What came off the inactive list to that date was 4. Now these people have an address, and I find it curious that 2 have addresses in Bakota, 4 have addresses in Centralia, 1 has address in DuPont, 5 have it in East Olympia, 3 have it in Lacey, 1 in Lake Bay, 1 in Little Rock, 1 in Linwood, 11 in Olympia, 2 in Rainier, 4 in Rochester, 1 in Tacoma, 5 in Tumwater, 1 in Winlock, 2 in Yelm, and of course, the sent to addresses is 1,163 in Tenino. That leaves a balance of 51 who have their residential address within Tenino, but they're receiving mail elsewhere. I can't tell you who's out of state or whatever because they might be military. I can't tell you that. But this is voters fraud. I mean, I just had a conversation on the phone, and between Saturday and Monday, we've had over 300 brand new voters in Thurston County. Something's wrong here. Somebody needs to investigate it, and somebody needs to investigate this fraud as well. Now, it's your problem, not mine. Thank you.
Terry, will you please introduce yourself for the record and about where you live in the county?
My name's Terry Ballard. I live in unincorporated Thurston County, better known as Tangawau.
And I'm going to presume you've already notified the auditor, county auditor of these allegations?
I got this paperwork from the county auditor.
Okay,
This paperwork came from the county auditor. She verified this person, and I'm sorry, I'm going to submit it to the state, and I'm going to submit it to federal, because there's Social Security fraud here too.
All right, thank you, sir. After Julie Holmquist will be Tim Rath. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am here today to discuss.
Julie?
Yeah.
Name and where you reside in the county, please?
Thank you.
Oh, okay, that's right. My name's Julie Holmquist. I live on Lakeside Street, Southwest in Olympia, Washington.
Excuse me, as a respect to other members that might be coming to testify, can you wear your mask?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
I am here today to discuss the possibility of a no shooting zone on Black Lake. Public safety is the main issue. And the threshold is the likelihood that people, pets, or property will be jeopardized. An emergency order is justified. It's necessary and it's in the interest of public safety. An ordinance is just way overdue. Luck has run out, and it is the county's duty. It will prevent foreseeable death and serious injury. I would like to ask, or what I was hoping to do would be to ask each commissioner individually a question. I don't know if that's the right.
No, they will not be able to answer questions.
At this
today,
point, they won't be able to
It's
answer.
your time to provide
Well, I'd
testimony.
like you to think about this question, commissioners. No answer needed. But I would like you to each to think about if you feel individually, do you feel that hunting on Black Lake is safe? The reason obviously for that is if it's undisputed, if everyone thinks that this is unsafe, you know, I think the process will get done a little bit faster. I have a few questions for the county in general or commissioners, and I'll submit these formally, but I would like to know what makes hunting on Black Lake legal? Like, where does it say, where's the RCW, where's the law, where does it say that hunting on open waters of Black Lake is legal? And why do hunters' rights to use the lake trump recreational rights? Can the county say that it has adequate resources to regulate shooting on a year-round public lake? I can guarantee you that you don't, because I'm a lake person. Unregulated shooting with the imposing side as the enforcer, that would be Fish and Wildlife, leads to the increased risk and ongoing illegal violations of these hunters. The hunters' unethical conduct, the intimidation of non-hunters, hunting in baited areas, hunter trespass. These are all, in fact, real crimes and contain civil liability. Property owners have constitutional and statutory rights, and we will ask the county to uphold those rights. Hunters have the burden of law, not the residents of the community. Bullets kill people, shotguns are deadly. The likelihood of someone being killed has been increased by Fish and Wildlife taking the side of the hunters. These hunters have become even more brazen and more dangerous than ever. The risk has increased with warmer weather, people using the lake, population. I'm gonna get to this really quick. Today, I'm basically just begging you that we at least begin the journey to looking into this possibility. Week after week, you make hard decisions that impact people's lives. This is a decision that, to move forward would be really great change. And most importantly, prevention from liability and loss of life. You can live here your whole life and not know that hunting is happening on Black Lake. It's an automatic in your mind. It's not a safe place to shoot.
You're up,
Thank you, ma'am.
ma'am. Your time is up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you
After
give me the
Tim
floor?
Rath,
Can you give me the floor for a second, Commissioner?
certainly.
This morning, you sent an email related to this matter, I believe.
Yeah, it was last Friday at 2 p.m.
Yeah, we discussed this morning with the board.
Cool.
You have instructed me to look into the details of that.
Okay.
So I don't know if that will result in an ordinance resolution. We need to explore all the options. And that's the direction that I received this morning.
Did you guys look at the video?
Yeah, we looked at everything what you sent.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Tim Rath, followed by Shannon Parry.
Hi, my name is Tim Rath. I also live in Evergreen Shores on Black Lake. And I'm here to talk about the hunting in Black Lake as well. Mostly reinforcing what Julie had said. So I find it to be very scary that folks are hunting in Black Lake for the main reasons of they do not respect when others are in the area. They shoot when others are in the area. They shoot when they're close to the Evergreen Shores Park and dock, and people are on the dock. They shoot when boats are nearby, and we jet ski, we kayak, we canoe on the lake, and they are hidden. They camouflage so well you cannot tell where they are, so you don't ever know where they are. And that is very concerning to me. They shot a duck that was between the park and where they were, not super far apart, but there were people on the dock and shooting toward the dock. I find it to be very scary. The video that she submitted shows a wakeboarder coming by, and they shoot right when the wakeboarder comes up by them. Now there's people on the dock, there's the wakeboarder, and then I have to think about how that, if we're out in a canoe, if we're out, on jet skis, how does that, we don't have any idea where they are. Shots could come out at any time. When we saw them shoot at that wakeboarder, we originally were in our backyard, and we saw the shooting coming out, and there were families and kids on the dock. So we went down to the park to see how close the hunters were, and that's when the wakeboarder came around again. The wakeboarder was in the area before that. The wakeboarder came around again, and they shot right when the wakeboarder came by and cheered, and the wakeboarder was like, whoa, what the hell, like that. This I find very, very concerning. This is something where I feel like my safety can be in jeopardy. I feel like my use of the lake can be unsafe, and my girlfriend's use of the lake can be unsafe. She was on the dock when they shot the duck that was flying between the dock and where the hunters were. So this goes back to the regulation that's not being regulated, and it's just a matter of ethics. If there are people in the area, you shouldn't be shooting your gun. And the fact that that's happening on the lake is scary, and I find it to be a safety concern.
Thank you, sir. Is that it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes?
I didn't get the last name of this gentleman. Tim? R-A-T-H? Okay, thank you.
And next is a Shannon Parry.
Hello, my name is Shannon Parry, and I live in Evergreen Shores. I too agree that the hunting is a little out of control, not a little, but a lot. I think that WDFW, the Department of Fish and Wildlife they're on the side of the hunter, especially an officer, is it Boschgum or something like that? I was there that day that the hunter shot at us, and that doesn't seem to have made it into the report anywhere. As I was standing on the dock and the hunter pointed his gun right at us and waited till the duck it wasn't an adequate shot. It wasn't appropriate. It was too late because he was making a point because he pointed that gun directly at us and fired away. Now, could he have hit us with those pellets? Probably not, but staring at somebody shooting at you, it's not what you want to have happen when you're hanging out on your lake. Did I get mad? Oh, yes, I did, because he didn't even attempt to retrieve the duck. He let it sink to the bottom of the lake where it drowned and it died and it was wasted. There was no reason for him to fire at one duck with that poor shot. He was only doing it to make a point. His point is they have control of DFW. He's on their side. That's their buddy. Well, if the rest of us who are paddling around, hanging out on the edges, or just maybe want to walk through the woods that we own in Evergreen Shores, it's not safe. You're going to end up shot and somebody's going to end up hurt. I don't think that's how we should be handling our community waters either. We have quite a few issues here in this county. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody else in the boardroom that would like to address the board?
No, sir.
Okay. And you check the phone. Thank you.
For those who have joined us this afternoon,
Exactly. Have left the conference.
for those who have joined us via conference call this afternoon, if you'd like to provide public testimony, please unmute yourselves, state your name, where you reside in the county. You have 3 minutes. None, sir.
All right, thank you. And I don't see anybody else on Zoom. Thank you, Romero, for bringing up the fact that the board, we talked about this issue this morning at the work session. Research and work is definitely following because it's on our radar. Thank you. This takes us to item number 2 on the agenda, which is the county manager's update.
I don't have any public testimony that I need to follow up today, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Agenda 3A is the consent item, the voucher list. Here's our motion.
I make a motion to approve consent item 3A.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve consent item 3A. Any questions or comments regarding that? No. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you. Agenda item number 4, we're getting into the department items. The first one is 4A, which is the auditor. And this is the Center for Tech and Civic Life Elections Grant. And who is it going to be Diana Benson with the auditor's office? Go ahead, Diana, please.
We cannot hear you, Diana.
We're not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Very faintly.
Awful, but you can.
It's very low. Your volume
I'm
is
not
very
on
low.
mute. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Here's some noise.
Okay.
We lost you. Romero, do you want to go ahead and brief this? Or is Joe Wolf on?
Yeah, yes, I could if you like.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, Diana.
That's okay. Sorry, it's a lot of noise here at the ballot.
Thank you, Commissioners, for your consideration this afternoon is to accept a grant from the Center of Tech and Civic Life for an additional $185,000 to support election activities in the Thurston County Auditor's Office. This is the second round of grants. You approve an initial 160,000 early in the year, and this additional 185,000 will bring that the total amount of this grant to 345,000. And the intent is to cover all activities, including purchases of equipment, as well as activities from, I believe, June of 2020 through December 31st, 2020. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those.
Thank you. Any questions, commissioners, or discussion?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
There is a considerable difference in the verbiage that we're being given this afternoon than what we went over this morning. I'm just curious why that is.
Yeah, the action for your consideration today is, as opposed to come back to you with another AIS, you authorize the grant as well as authorize the purchases associated with this grant.
Okay, so there's a combination of those two actions. Thank you very much.
What you see is the second part, which is the way the competitive procurement requirements and authorizing the purchase of those equipment. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the Thurston County Auditor's Office to accept a grant of $185,000 from the Center for Tech and Civic Life for the term of June 15, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, for the purpose of planning and operating safe and secure elections during the COVID-19 emergency, and to authorize the Thurston County Auditor to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%, and waive the competitive procurement requirements for procurement of election barriers through GSA contract number 47QSWA19D001F as allowed under RCW 3932090.
Second.
Been moved and seconded for the auditor to accept the grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life elections. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Diana.
Thank you very much, commissioners. Appreciate your support.
Now you come loud and clear.
Yeah.
Technology, we love it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Agenda item number 5A is setting a public hearing for a telecommunications franchise agreement. And we have Patty Rossetto, Senior Management Analyst. Hi, Patty.
Hi. Hey, good morning. Good afternoon, commissioners. I'm Patty Rossetto with the Commissioner's Office. Astound Broadband LLC is seeking a franchise agreement to operate telecommunication services in the county right away. Thurston County offices and departments have reviewed the application and deemed it complete. This action will set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 at 3 o'clock. At the hearing, there will be an opportunity for public comment on the application.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Any questions or comments, commissioners?
I guess I'd just point out that we had quite a bit more in-depth discussion this morning, and so I'd encourage the public to watch our work sessions if they really want to know the nitty-gritty on a lot of these issues. But we covered this extensively this morning. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion, sir?
Yes, I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, December 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280 to receive comments on the proposed telecommunications franchise application from Astound Broadband LLC.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for December 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. regarding the telecommunications franchise agreement. Any further discussion? Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6A is CPED and Community Planning and Economic Development, setting a public hearing for the comp plan docket. And we have Maya Teeple, our associate planner. Hi, Maya.
Thank you, Commissioners. Maya Teeple, Senior Planner with Community Planning. I'm here today to request that the board set a public hearing on December 1st, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. or soon thereafter. This would be to accept public comment on Comprehensive Plan Docket Item CP11, which is the Recycled Asphalt Policy Amendment. This is a citizen-initiated proposal and has been included on the official docket since 2017. And the request before you would amend Policy E5 of the Nisqually Sub-Area Plan. Currently, that policy prohibits asphalt recycling due to water quality concerns in the Nisqually sub-area. The proposed amendment would change the language of Policy E5 within the Nisqually Sub-Area Plan to allow for asphalt recycling in the sub-area. Some of the options that would be included for the public hearing include additional amendments to the Thurston County Code, Chapter 2054, which is the special use permit chapter, to require best management practices for covering stored recycled asphalt. This is a policy level change, and any person who wishes to recycle asphalt, if this policy were amended, would still need to go through the permitting process. The board did hold one work session on this to consider the proposed amendments on October 29th. And prior to the board's review, the Planning Commission held 3 work sessions from July through September and a public hearing on October 7th. The Planning Commission produced a recommendation of approval of the proposed amendments as denoted in option 3 by a unanimous vote, 9-0, with no commissioners absent. Community Planning has held 2 open houses on the proposed amendment in July of 2017 and also in June of 2019. And if the board sets a public hearing today, staff will make sure all draft documents are on the Community Planning website, and the hearing notice will be published in the Olympian. That concludes my remarks. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Maya?
Yes.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
You said this has, well, been on the book since when again? When did you say this has been on moving forward since, was it 2016? I don't know if you said that right now,
yes,
or if you said that at another time.
I said it at the briefing, but also today. This has been on the official docket since 2017.
When was it added to the 2017 docket?
Early 2017. I don't know the month off the top of my head, but we received this application in 2016. So the board in 2017 added it to the official docket. That was the first time it was included on the official docket.
And was this originally brought to the county's attention around 2010?
Yes, the citizen who requested the policy amendment did submit several applications for a comprehensive plan amendment previously. So we've received a number of applications for the same request over the years. I think beginning as early from 2010 through 2016 when this was eventually added to the docket.
And then if we have a hearing on this, that's the public's opportunity to be able to comment on their position on this. Once we set a public hearing, then the public can come in and make comments. Is that right?
Absolutely, that's correct. Once the board sets the public hearing, this will go out and we will widely disseminate, and the public will have the opportunity to comment on the proposed amendments.
And was the Planning Commission that recommended this to us to move forward, was that a unanimous 9-0 ruling?
Yes, the Planning Commission did have a unanimous recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Commissioner Mintz, or anything?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Maya, very much. Appreciate you tuning in and providing comment and background. So is there a motion?
Yes, there is a motion.
Okay.
I would move to set a public hearing for December 1st, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. or as soon thereafter at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1 in Room 280 to receive public comment on Comprehensive Plan Docket Item CP-11, Recycled Asphalt Policy Amendment.
I'll second that. It's been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for the Comp Plan Docket item CP-11 recycled asphalt policy. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yep. Go ahead, Commissioner.
I just want to be really clear that I'm going to be voting no, but my vote is not against the substance of this docket item, simply against setting a public hearing at this time. This has been one of the toughest issues that I've seen as a commissioner, involving some complicated science, the Nisqually Indian tribe, City of Lacey, and we had a 1-hour briefing last week. To call it a work session, I think, is a little bit generous. We had a 1-hour briefing. I had a lot of questions left, and I'm just not ready to set it for hearing. I assume that I will be, but just want folks to understand why I'm voting no on this particular item, which is just about setting the public hearing. Just moving a little fast for my taste.
Thank you, sir. And my comment is that we put this on the docket as a previous board in 2017. So we've had considerable more time to talk and chew and read and research and ask questions than Commissioner Messer has. And just letting the people know that, again, we're setting this for a public hearing for December 1st. It's a prescription by law to set for public hearing and have an open and end time. We have to do that. But we've been receiving comment outside of that window, and that's okay. We'll receive comment from the public in all forms during that at the hearing. That's fine. And we're going to receive comment subsequent to the public hearing, and that's fine. We just have to have that public hearing, but it doesn't preclude anybody from email, voicemail, snail mail, getting information to us and making public comment. So with that, it's been moved and seconded, and we've had discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries 2-1. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you.
Takes us to 7A on the agenda, and public defense is the topic. And this is an interlocal agreement with the City of Tumwater for indigent defense. And we have Patrick O'Connor, our public defense director, with us. We also have Jose Vargas. Thank you. Nice to see you, Jose. Patrick, go ahead and take it, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Patrick O'Connor, Director of Thurston County Public Defense. I'm before the board today, asking the board to approve and authorize me to execute a contract with the City of Tumwater to extend public defense services to the City of Tumwater through year 2021 and 2022. This is an ongoing interlocal agreement. This is an amendment to that agreement. The City of Tumwater is reducing, by way of this amendment, one staff member based on the number of criminal filings to provide representation to the City of Tumwater. It sets a not to exceed clause of $550,300 over the next 2 years. This is accounting for all public defense services for the City of Tumwater, direct representation, professional services, travel, all services and costs associated with defending misdemeanor and gross misdemeanor cases out of the City of Tumwater. I'm happy to answer any further questions that you may have.
Commissioners, do you have any questions of Pat?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Then here's our motion then.
Yes, I would move to approve the interlocal agreement amendment with the City of Tumwater for indigent defense legal services for $550,300 from January 1, 2021 to December 31st, 2022, and authorize the Director of Public Defense to execute the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve an interlocal agreement amendment for the City of Tumwater Indigent Defense Legal Services. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Good to see you, Pat, and so good to see you, Jose.
Thank you, Commissioners. Good to see you as well.
Thank you. Agenda item number 8, Public Health and Social Services. 8A is a contract with the City of Olympia for micro shelters. And we have Tom Webster, Social Services Program Specialist number 2. Hi, Tom.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster, Manager of the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention with Public Health and Social Services. So here to ask for your approval for a contract for $60,000 with the City of Olympia to support the construction and installation of micro shelters at the Olympia mitigation site. City of Olympia made a request to the Regional Housing Council for $60,000. The total budget for this project is around a little over $100,000. They're requesting funding out of the 2163 Document Recording Fee Emergency Fund. And the Regional Housing Council reviewed this request and is making the unanimous recommendation for the commissioners to approve this contract. Micro houses cost approximately $500 each. They are made of plywood and lumber, and they're more durable, weather resistant, and rodent resistant than the current tents at the site. This funding will provide for the construction of approximately 80 micro units. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Commissioners, any questions for Tom or comments?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Edward.
Tom, would you explain what you're talking about to the public when you say the 2163 money, please?
Yes, sir. So 21633 is a House bill, is a document recording fee. So when people purchase a house or refinance a mortgage, there's document recording fees. The county receives a portion of that is dedicated for homeless services activities. So that we receive a little over $2 million a year in this fund, and we award contracts each year. And each year, what was previously the Health and Human Services Council, going forward, it will be the Regional Housing Council, has set aside a portion of those funds to use for emergency purposes throughout the year. But it's a local document recording fee.
And is this where we joined with the other municipal jurisdictions to pool our money in one fund? Is that the fund you're referring to?
I believe you're referring to the 1406 fund. I know there's a lot of bill numbers where we are working on pooling those funds. 2163 funds are controlled by the county. However, they represent document recording fees based on activities throughout the county. The county has under an agreement with the Department of Commerce, the way the program is operated, the county is the authorizing agent for these funds.
And when would we reach a conclusion if this was to take place? When would this take place? I mean, would they have it done by March or April or January or?
Yeah, so City of Olympia is looking to get started right away. They've received donations from other local businesses and organizations. So they're looking to get these constructed right away in time for winter. So expect them to be built and start being implemented in the next, before the end of the year.
I don't know if you were here, Tom, for the earlier citizen comment, but Mr. Pettit made comments about this issue. Were those comments all correct? Did you get to hear them?
I did hear his comments. They were, factually correct in the sense of the size. There is a plywood door. There is some security. There's greater security than a tent in the sense of door that locks, but it's not a normal door. These are certainly not structures that would be are ideal by any sense, but they are certainly better than tents. They are, especially during the winter months, they are more durable. Olympia has frequently needed to replace the existing tents. They've had issues with, especially during the winter with snow, really is hard on the tents. And so these are an improvement over the tents, but I don't think anyone would argue that these are an ideal solution.
What kind of heat is involved in these, do you know?
I do not know specifically. I do not believe there's any heat in the units themselves. At the mitigation site, there are places where residents, I believe there are space heating areas where they can go to, but I do not believe there's any heat inside the units themselves.
Thank you.
It must be a little warmer than a tent, though, I would think. Personal heat. Commissioner Menster, do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, just kind of a follow-up on the 2163 funding stream, the document recording fees go there, and I understand it's ultimately under county control, but am I right that historic, and not just this year, but in previous years, the recommendations for use of that money has been done through the Regional Housing Consortium, the HHSC or CIP. Now we've funneled those responsibilities to the RHC, Regional Housing Council. But it's been the case that that money and how to deploy it has come from recommendations from that group. Am I right about that?
That is correct. The Health and Human Services Council had established a policy around how to criteria for distributing these emergency funds along with all the 2163 funds. So all recommendations for contracts for these funds do come through what was previously the HHSC and is now the Regional Housing Council. So you are correct.
Okay, I just want to make that point because they're subject matter experts from all the jurisdictions who know more about the needs of the sites that we're dealing with than I do. You said there's a unanimous recommendation to do that. The last time I toured, you mentioned rodent resistant, and I think that's important. The last tour I did of the mitigation site, which was only about a month to less than 2 months ago, they were grappling with a rodent problem that was significant, and I saw with my own eyes. So I'm glad to see. I think what has happened is that there's been, with COVID, the short-term nature of that mitigation site has been by necessity had to be extended, and the cold weather and the more medium-term nature of what they're grappling with has required some more durable structures. I'm assuming that's kind of the tenor of the conversation. Commissioner Hutchins can certainly correct me if I'm wrong, since he sits on those meetings with RHC, but I certainly not arguing that that's an ideal solution in any sense, and that's been clear from my comments about as this board has discussed the mitigation site. Mr. Pettit, since he was brought up, also made reference to comments I made. He said I was bragging about, I was bragging on my commissioner page, not about this policy. It was about the Interfaith Works project and the safe parking project that we've moved forward. At no point was I bragging that somehow the county has solved homelessness because we're authorizing this plywood. So I want to make that really clear. That was a misstatement of fact. But I do understand why this request is being made, and I'm going to defer to the expertise on the Regional Housing Council based on the conversations that they've had.
Thank you, Commissioner, and you are right in your assessment. Tom, and you work for Public Health and Social Services, and Social PSHS is also represented on the RHC. And if this was against public health, I'm sure public health wouldn't endorse this in any way, let alone bring it forward. And I want to be sure this is the project that Providence St. Peter's has worked with us on, or with the City of Olympia, as well as Pardell Lumber and other businesses or nonprofits.
That is correct. Providence Hospital is donating $50,000 for the purchase of the materials. The $60,000 of this funding will support the project management, the oversight of the construction of the units. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Let me get back to it. It's been a while now. Do we already do the motion? I don't think we did. Was there a motion?
I don't think we made a motion yet, did we?
No motion yet, Commissioner Menzer.
Not yet.
I'll make a motion to approve a contract for $60,000 with the City of Olympia to support the construction and installation of micro shelters at the Olympia mitigation site, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contract and any amendments that do not change the dollar amount by more than 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve a contract with the City of Olympia for micro shelters. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I guess in deference to the good work that Mr. Webster does in trying to protect these folks, I do have enough questions that I'm concerned about this, and we don't know when it's going to be done, when it's going to start, when it's going to be done. And that's definitely not his fault. That's working with Olympia. So I'm just concerned about that. Thank you.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm going to vote no if you ask for it.
Well, I'm going to ask you. You got to take a stand.
Okay, no.
Okay. Thank you. Motion carries 2-1. 8B is Emergency Solutions Grant. And Tom Webster again.
Good afternoon again. So the request here is to approve a contract with the Washington State Department of Commerce, an amendment to an existing contract for $3,255,300 under the Emergency Solutions Grant COVID program. So this is funded under the CARES Act. The Department of Commerce received funding for what's known as ESG or Emergency Solutions Grants. This funding is used to prepare for and respond to coronavirus among individuals and families who are homeless or receiving homeless assistance. The county received a grant earlier this summer for $627,292 in ESG CV funds. And so this amendment is adding the $3.2 million for a total contract amount of $3,882,592. And these funds will need to be spent by September 30th of 2022. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Tom?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
The dollar amount was what again, Tom?
The dollar amount of the amendment is $3,255,300.
Okay, and it's combined with.
And it's going to be combined with we've already received $627,000. So the new total amount of funding will be $3,882,592.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that.
Commissioner Benson, anything?
No.
Is there a motion, sir?
Move to approve a contract amendment with the Washington State Department of Commerce for $3,255,300 under the Emergency Solutions Grant COVID, and to authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments that do not change the contract value by more than 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve an Emergency Solutions Grant. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tom. 8C, State of Washington Department of Children, Youth, and Families Interlocal Agreement. Then we have Gretchen Toller, NFP Program Manager, with us.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to come. I am seeking approval of the amendment for the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families Interlocal Agreement for an additional funding of $937,602.91 for a revised total maximum consideration of $1,749,653.32 and an extended termination date of July 31st of 2021. These funds will allow Nurse Family Partnership to continue serving families in Thurston, Mason, and Lewis counties for a total of 125 families. And just for anyone who doesn't know, Nurse Family Partnership is a program that works with mothers to provide support, resources, and coaching to help families have the best outcomes.
Great, thank you. Any questions of Gretchen?
Yes.
Go ahead, sir.
Gretchen, with your supervision, you know these kids are 30% of our population, but they're 100% of our future. So I'm concerned that we do enough for them, because I don't think we can ever do enough for our kids, because they are the future. But I am concerned that part of this motion that maybe this was because we discussed it this morning, the duration of the contract by more than 10%, like we couldn't increase more than 10%. And I'm wondering if we're going to have a possibility before July 31st, 2021, that we could get more money, and are we limiting ourselves by putting 10% in there? Should it say something else? I don't know, 25%. So we could immediately get it if it comes available from the state to enhance your program.
We definitely look for any opportunity to be able to expand funding and expand services. We, as you know, over the last several years, we continue to have a wait list and currently have a wait list in all 3 counties. And families, there's a lot of families in need, especially during COVID. So I'm not sure that there will be an opportunity with the state. I think, we're all waiting to see what the state budget looks like, but certainly, know that if there is an opportunity, I will be jumping on it.
Okay, that'll suffice. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Menser?
I have nothing. Ready for motion?
Yes.
What was that? Oh, yeah.
Okay. I move to approve amendment number 2 to the Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families Interlocal Agreement number 20-1176 for additional funding of $937,602.91 for a revised total maximum consideration of $1,749,653.32 and an extended termination date of July 31st, 2021. And authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the amendment and any future amendments that do not revise the approved dollar amount or duration of the contract by more than 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the State of Washington Department of Children, Youth, and Families interlocal agreement. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That motion carries. Thank you, Gretchen.
Thank you very much.
8D, setting a public hearing for the 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm still Tom Webster with Public Health and Social Services. So here to request that you set a public hearing for December 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. or as soon as may be heard thereafter to receive public comment on the 2019 HUD Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. This is an annual report that is required to be provided to HUD regarding the spending of our Community Development Block Grant and Home Investment Partnership Program funds for the funds that were expended for our program year 2019, which covers the period from September 1st, 2019 through August 31st of 2020. There will be a 15-day public comment period. We will publish the report on or about November 13th. A notice will be published in the Olympian. It will also be posted to our website, and the comment period will close on December 1st at the end of the public hearing.
Any questions of Tom?
No, sir.
No.
Is there a motion?
I move to set a public hearing for December 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. or soon thereafter as the matter may be heard to receive public comment on the 2019 HUD Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to set a public hearing for the 2019 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Tom, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Takes us to agenda item number 9, which is the commissioners reporting back on our work sessions and committee meetings. And begin with Commissioner Edwards.
I guess I'm going to limit mine to 2 just quick items of community concern. And one of them is schools and COVID and how we can get through that. That's probably the biggest issue that I continue to get contacts on. But also the McKenna home conversion in which there's going to be basically a halfway house there, and the concern the public has on how those folks are going to obtain treatment, what we're going to do about public transportation. So those 2 issues took up my week besides everything else that we did on public TV and such. I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Menser.
I'll just report on one item. I represent the county on the Chehalis Basin Partnership, and that's a long-standing group that got designated by the Department of Ecology when the Streamflow Restoration Act, which is also known as the Hearst Fix legislation, got passed as the watershed planning group. And there's different subgroups and subcommittees. I'm on the, whatever they call it, the executive planning committee or whatnot. But we meet, and we've been working through the watershed plan, and a milestone was passed, which was that the partnership approved the second draft. We had to approve it by consensus, or else face top-down rulemaking from the Department of Ecology. It now goes to the various jurisdictions, and it will come to our board. We've had a preliminary briefing on it. But it's a big achievement because we had a very tight deadline. We were on the sort of second wave of responders to get our watershed plan done by, I believe it's February, but there's some preliminary review process with ecology. So our intent is to get it submitted by the end of November, and we seem to be on track to do that. So that's a big accomplishment for Chehalis Basin, and that's all I'm going to report on. Oh, I also attended the Nisqually Community Forest presentation last Thursday night, which was really excellent, showing the ins and outs of one of the community forest projects they have going up on the Michelle, something that we looked at in the Nisqually watershed plan back in early 2019, but I got to hear a little bit more about the details and specifics. So anyway, that's my report today.
Thank you, sir. I attended the EDC, Economic Development Council's board session last week. I always find that interesting. For WASAC, the Washington Association of Counties, I'm part of a professional development committee working on certification for newly elected officials. So we've been going through what topics would be important for new county officials to learn about. What kind of unit or credits would be assigned to each topic? How many credits are required to meet certification? Instructors and certification evaluations and continuing education units, et cetera. And so there's still more work to be done on that, but it's very interesting to help newly elected officials. And the group of the committee is comprised of other commissioners and non-elected executive employees from other counties all across the state. Also attended the 10th and the 11th Governor's Task Force on Independent Investigation of Police Use of Force. It's supposed to be final on, I think this Thursday or Friday is the final. And so the governor has time to have his policy analysts put the legislation together to propose to the next legislative session to chew it up and figure out what an independent investigation of police use of force will look like in this state. So more to come on that eventually. Other than that, that is it. County Manager, you're on, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your combined the schedule for the upcoming week. Yes, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. Beginning tomorrow, Wednesday, November 4th, 9 in the morning, you have a briefing related from the Thurston County Action Plan related to the Sea Pacer program. 1:30 in the afternoon tomorrow, you have a special Board of Health meeting where you will have a briefing related to the water quality in the county. It is a follow-up to a couple of sessions you received early in the year. 2:30 in the afternoon, you have a follow-up briefing on the Waira stream flow briefing. At 3:30, you have a briefing from the county treasurer related to the cost allocation associated with the project on the Capitol Lake. Thursday, November 5th, begins your budget deliberations at 9 in the morning, and that's the morning sessions from 9 to 11:30. At 11:30, you have an executive session where you hear some information related to litigation, a potential litigation against the county. And then you will convene back at 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, November 5th to 4:30, where you continue your budget deliberations. Friday, November 6th, 9, you begin your budget deliberations again. You will have a break at 11:30, and you will come back at 1:30 to continue your budget conversations for the 2021 budget. Moving on to Monday, November 9th, budget deliberations continue at 9 in the morning. You will break at 1:30, and you will have a virtual meeting with the Washington State Association of County at noon, and you will convene back here at 1:30 to 4:30 on Monday, November 9th, to continue the budget conversations. Moving on to Tuesday, November 10th, you will be here having your regular agenda setting at 9 in the morning, where you will be reviewing the agenda for the afternoon's Board of County Commissioners meeting. And that's all I have for you.
That's it. All right, thank you, sir. Action-packed time coming up, especially on budget. So I look forward to seeing you more, Robin. Commissioners, anything for the good of the order?
No, sir.
Nope. Yeah, this meeting is adjourned. Bye-bye now.